good afternoon guys. Welcome back to my vlog. Today is Saturday in the afternoon, and as you can see, I have my guest in here. This is my husband. Hello, Bill.
Hi.
Thank you so much for guesting on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I know he doesn't want to be here. He's very private, but you know,
You bribed him.
I bribed him.
Yeah, she bribed me. That's true. She promised me snacks. I didn't get any.
Oh yeah, snacks, right? Okay, so today our vlog, it's about getting to know each other. So I'm gonna have like 10 questions to ask Bill. And first question that I'm gonna ask him is, can you still remember the first time we met?
Yes, I remember very distinctly the first time that we met. I had been single for a lot of years, kind of looking for somebody, dating. I never thought about anybody overseas, and I just sat down in front of my computer, and I went in on the Yahoo Asian chat room, which happened to be full of like webcam girls, which, if anybody knows me, that is not my thing. You know, and it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I was just about to click out of there and go, oh God, let me out of this thing. And Jovi actually wrote hi, just one simple hi there. And from there, believe it or not, we talked for almost 5 hours that day, just chatting and kind of talking about where each of us were from and what our background was and things like that. So
Right.
that was our first meeting. Now you got to understand, I don't know anything about the internet. I don't think there was too much internet in those days for the girls over in the Philippines either. I didn't even have a cam, so I didn't know what she looked like, anything like that. So that was our first meeting.
All right, thank you. So my next question is, what is your first impression when you met me in person?
Okay, well, obviously she's very pretty, more beautiful than I thought even from seeing her online. I knew she was really, really shy. When I met her in person, you know, my plane landed in the province airport where she's from, and we had excuse me, we had to walk down the big staircase from the plane and then out onto the tarmac. Well, from the top of the tarmac there, I can see Jovi hiding behind everybody else, so it was pretty funny. But that was our first meeting. So
That was really funny because I was embarrassed because I have someone that work at the airport. I don't want to be like, I thought he was like, you know, he was fake, and I don't want to be like, I went to the airport and then he's not real. Then it would be very embarrassing.
there's a lot of guys that'll tell girls that they're coming to meet them or whatever, and then they don't show up, and that would be a very big
Right.
embarrassment for her. So I understand that.
So my third question is, what do you think about LDR relationship?
Okay, I can tell you right now, they're not for everybody. Okay, it takes special people to be in a long distance relationship, especially one that is completely internet based for quite a period of time. You got to really commit to getting to know each other while you're on that internet, and really use that time productively. And like for dating somebody specifically like Jovi was from the Philippines, that visa process is difficult. Let me tell you, do not think that is going to just come like real easy, even if you had a lawyer, which we didn't. But no, it's very hard. So that's the thing I would caution everybody. You've really got to have some wherewithal, and you really got to be committed to what you're doing to do that.
100%. So my next question is, what do you think about my family?
Jovi's family are super nice people. I love them to death. They're a little bit lax when it comes to the parenting end of things. sometimes I don't see eye to eye with that part of it. But as far as them themselves, I love her mom and dad to death. They're great people. Yeah.
Yeah. My mom is not really a disciplinarian person, and my dad. So I have to be like the one because I'm the oldest. So I have like, oh, you gotta do this. Like I have to be the leader, or else they're not gonna be a good person. At least they respect me. So next, what is your impression about the Philippines, such as culture, tradition, and of course the people?
Okay. Let's start with the one that I really hate. Some of the traditions, but especially the chaperone thing. Okay, when you date somebody from the Philippines, you don't really get to spend any personal time with them. You're gonna have a chaperone, and we had cousins that were following us around. We had people from her church that were with us constantly. We had her working student employers around us the whole time, and we didn't really get a lot of time to spend together until we finally got the blessing from her pastor to go out on our own and basically, go see some of the sites in the province where she's from and do some things. So, that tradition, that one I can do without. Most of them are fine, and I believe in assimilating into that culture that you're getting into. As far as the Philippine people, oh my goodness, resilient people. They start over there all the time. A typhoon wipes something out, and they shovel it all out, they brush it all out, they scoop it all out, and they start again. Yeah. Very, very resilient people. I want to give you one example of the way the people are over there. We went to get our rings resized there in the Philippines, okay? Went to a goldsmith, okay? Here this guy is. I hand him over the ring to get Jovi's ring resized. The guy has a propane torch, a big pair of channel lock pliers, and like a screwdriver, and not much else, okay? And he's turning this ring all black, doing all this thing. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into with this thing? But he literally chunked a piece of metal out of there with a hacksaw. He used his pair of pliers, used his torch, put it together. You couldn't even see a seam when that thing was done. And how anybody could do that with so little tools or whatever boggles my mind to this day. They're really, really, good people that can do a lot of resilient things with very little. Okay, as far as the culture, the Philippines is that's a third world country over there. Believe me, it is vastly different from what you're used to over here in the United States. Okay, so if you get involved with somebody from the Philippines, don't expect everything to work. It's very hard to get communication over there. Getting your cell phone to work over there is very hard. Their internet, I understand, has improved quite a bit since we were there last. So that, that's good. But like when we were over there going through the visa process, you couldn't even find a fax machine. And I tell you what, I sent papers to Jovi to fill out. She did them wrong. It cost me $100. Sent it back to her. She filled them out again. And send it through I guess it was LDR, LTC. I don't remember what it was, but LBC. Send it $100 again. Send it back to me, all wrong, and send it back to her. Finally got it back right the third time. And if you don't think that there was smoke coming out of my ears, you got another thing coming, because of that. When you waste like $300, you're not gonna be nice about it.
Your partner is not gonna be happy.
Right, your partner is not gonna be happy about that. Okay, so yeah, that there are definitely culture things that are very, very different over there. People are very nice. They're very customer service friendly when you talk to them. When they're being nice to you, it's genuine. They really are very nice people over there. Yeah, so I mean, there's all kinds of things different. You really got to go over there to experience it. I can't really sum it up in a very brief talk here right now. That's a whole video in itself.
But what you said about the tradition, you don't like it too much. But I think I can understand you about your points. But for me, it's our tradition. Like, we're very close family, especially Filipinos, very tight. So we tend to be more like, maybe like very protected to our family. That's why when you date someone, there's like chaperone, like, do you watch you, because you cannot also blame for us, because there are some, not everybody goes to the Philippines with good intentions.
Right,
So,
I understand that. However, I felt bad about it because I went with good intentions. I brought an engagement ring with me. I had intentions to marry my wife to be. I was already sure what I was going to do, and I didn't get the benefit of the doubt, really. But okay.
Yeah, yeah, but we have different traditions, but it works well. Yeah, I can understand with my tradition. They're very protected, and that's the way it is. Everybody different culture.
Again, if you're going to get involved in a long distance relationship, it's a different culture. You got to adjust to it. I was over there. I had to adjust to that because that is not going to happen here in America.
Right.
So yeah.
So my next question is, what are challenges in marrying an Asian or Filipina culture?
Okay, there's not as many as you might think, but the ones that are pretty big. Okay, the first challenge that really is that it's like really trying to get to know one another. Like I said, that visa process.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that is not friendly at all. That is basically based on a huge amount of people want to leave their countries to come to the United States every year, not just from the Philippines, other countries as well. Okay, so there's zillions of applications that go into the United States government for entry into the United States, and the United States government's job basically is to eliminate 95% of those applicants and allow 5% of those in, basically, if you think of it that way. So that visa process is very hard. Everything has to be absolutely perfect. I'll give you an example of exactly something that happened to me. Is I went and did some research, and it was very extensive research. It literally took me months on how to put together this visa package. And it's like you have to put this form on top of this form on top of this form, put this picture here, put it in a plastic bag, and write this on the plastic bag. Then put it under this one and this one and this one and this one.
Very detailed.
Very detailed, okay? Now, I did all that, okay? And then you got like 3 copies. You got one that you're going to retain for yourself. You got one that you're sending to the American embassy and one that goes to the Philippine embassy, okay? So, I did all that, okay? Now, before I sent that off, okay, I did a last-minute check, and there it was on the immigration website. They changed some of it right before I was going to send it off. So there I was, tearing the packages all apart, making these little minor changes, putting them all together, making sure the 3 copies were exactly correct, putting it all back together and sending it out, which it was fine, and it worked. So one of the challenges is the visa process.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the other thing that's tough is the Asian culture in the American home, because as you might think, and you might understand if you're from here, or you've been here a long time and you're from an Asian culture, it doesn't necessarily fit so good. So like if I get up in the morning and I see rotten bananas sitting out somewhere, that's pretty normal in the Philippines, but it's not normal here. I don't like that.
No, it's not normal in there. It's just,
When I get up in the morning and I find the pot of food has still been left on the stove, yeah, it's covered, but it's left. That's supposed to go in the refrigerator. That is like, the Asian culture in the American home doesn't always fit. To give you an idea, sitting just off to my side over here is like a 25-pound bag of rice. I never saw a 25-pound bag of rice in my life. Uncle Ben's box would last me a year, So it's just things like that are just really, really totally different. So you've got to you know, get used to having an Asian person in your house that has a whole different way of life. They're going to maybe eat a little bit different. They're going to think about things a little different. They're going to do things a little bit different. You just got to kind of go with the flow with that. Now, the last and final thing, and I'm not going back on this one, it might be a little controversial, leadership. You've got to lead your house, okay? So for somebody like me, maybe grew up in the 1950s, early 60s, not so hard because that's pretty normal for guys to do. The culture today with guys where they really like consult with their girls and they do things like that and really, you know, like that where I say the guys are a little softer today. That's not going to work so much with an Asian culture. You've got to be the head of your house. You've got to lead. And that's true. You've got to lead your house from the household standpoint. You've got to lead your house from basically the spiritual or religious standpoint. You've got to be the leader of your house. So that's the other challenges that you have there.
Right. But about the path, sometimes, you know, I won't say I'm perfect, but sometimes I work so many hours, but then I just cook the soup and it's just still there. But, you know, it's not all the time, you know, we're not perfect, but I'm doing my best. I have to defend myself.
I get my swats in that way.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's
in here.
perfect.
It's
And
not
you gotta kind of just
chocolates
adapt.
and flowers, roses. It's not like that.
It's not
you
like
know.
that.
It's the challenges, you know.
Right.
So we have to be more like how do you call that? Honest about ourselves. So
Right.
you know. So
Right.
when you come here, like.
You don't look at things
Yeah.
through rose-colored glasses because 95% of the time it's great, and then there's the 5% of the time where you know you're gonna argue a little bit. You're gonna not see eye to eye. Everything's not gonna be perfect, but all in all,
Yeah.
I you know I'm happy.
It's not every day I love him. Sometimes,
Right.
I love you today. Tomorrow, I don't like you.
Yeah, when I'm putting my foot down and actually leading, sometimes it's not a popular decision.
What can you do?
Right.
So, but anyway, we've been married for almost 16 years. So,
Right. And we have a lovely 12-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
and so yes, we're going strong and doing well.
it's not all about, you know, it's not perfect all the time. It's just like a normal life.
Like any other relationship.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. So my next question: would you recommend to your white people or Caucasians to marry a Filipino or Asians?
Oh, okay. The question of that one is definitely maybe. Okay. Okay. When you have to get to know somebody from Asia, that's obviously way across the seas. Okay. And again, the way you're going to be doing that basically is via internet. Okay. And if you're just the kind of person that you're going to clown around on that internet all the time and not try to do anything productive, you're going to have trouble. Okay. When Jovi and I spoke on the internet, sure, we did our share of clowning around too and laughing and joking, but we spent at least a portion of every single conversation like playing 20 questions with each other. And one of the things that I made sure that I asked her probably every week was, are you sure you're going to be good leaving your family, coming here and living here and maybe not going back there for years at a time?
Right.
I asked her that virtually, every week. You got to be very clear about how things are going to be. You've got to be very clear about what to expect. You have to be very clear about your intentions for each other, and you have to communicate. You can't just spend your time online clowning around, basically. You can't goof around. And again, you also have to set that expectations that there's a leader, there's a follower, that things are going to be a certain way, because you got to get that set right from the beginning, because otherwise you're going to clash. It's already going to be hard enough assimilating into different cultures. I have trouble when I go over there. She has trouble when she comes over here.
Right.
And the adjustment period is very
really
long.
hard,
You can't
yeah.
just expect your Philippine bride to assimilate into the culture in a month, okay? You know, there's still things that Jovi's learning
Right.
every week here that she doesn't know. That's just a little different, and it's 16 years later, so it's a slow process. So you have to be
Committed.
fully committed
Yes.
to each other, okay? Because it's very easy to say, "Oh my God, this is so hard. I'm just going to walk out." Okay, no. If you're at that point, you absolutely do not belong in a long distance relationship of any kind. If you are committed to whomever you're with, you know that this is the rest of your life that you're looking at. Okay, now you're good. And of course, there's got to be feelings involved there too. But,
Right. Okay. My next question. Why you decided to marry me?
Okay, well, I really liked the things that I heard about Jovi. I don't know if she's talked about this on the channel before or anything.
This is the first time.
Okay, so this is the first time you guys are going to hear this. This girl, 9 years old, living in the mountain on a farm, okay, goes down into the big city a couple hours away with her cousin, okay, to find work, because you can't go to school in the Philippines unless you have money. It's not a free thing. So she goes down by herself, okay. Her cousin finds work and basically leaves her there in the big city by herself, 9 years old. Jovi got hooked up with a family over there who offered to give her employment as a working student, and started working basically at 9 years old, and she worked her way all through college that way, okay? That's somebody that's got the drive and determination to make it through a relationship here, okay? That's number one, okay? Of course, she was very beautiful, and, I thought she was, very beautiful, and I loved her. And, of course, you can't have a marriage without love. That's, very important. She also wasn't materialistic. I mean, if you talk to people that generally can be online from various countries, they're scamming, they're trying to get money, there was none of that with Joey. In fact, I had to offer to pay for the internet time that we were spending together, which was just a couple of bucks. We're not talking about, any kind of money here. And I didn't send any money of any type of big money over there until we were actually working towards, getting our stuff together, our papers together for getting married. So I mean that's the thing that I really admire about her is her tenacity and the honesty. So and it was good. So that's what worked for us.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do you have any regrets?
Well, again, that depends upon the day, right? If we're having one of our normal days, I have absolutely no regrets. I'm very happy. I'm not having any trouble. If we're having one of those days, well, maybe it's one of them days I'm like, oh my God, what have I got myself into again?
I married this person. Why?
But no, I don't really have any serious regrets. Again, it's a scary process, guys. I'm not going to kid you. It's a scary process. So you can, read between the lines. I'm telling you, it's not all perfect. It's not all roses. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So my last question, what are your advice to our viewers, especially to the people who are married couple, and then people that are having LDR relationship right now, they're trying to be here, especially this pandemic?
Okay, so number one, especially with the pandemic, because the travel is very limited, and one day you can go and the next day you can't go, and the whole thing, patience. I don't even think if you're just going over there to meet and start right now, and you don't like have a spouse or whatever. No, not right now. I don't think that's a good time to entertain that. Just because. Well, one of the vloggers that I watch now, he's already married. He's got a kid in the Philippines. He's been married for several years. He took his vehicle and he went to go through several provinces to a different province. And he's already there. Okay, he got stopped in his vehicle because he didn't have a mask on at the right time, and they charged him like $100 just for being in the wrong province. So it's not easy even just to get around from one point and the other in the Philippines right now. So A, patience, okay? B is know what you're getting into before you start it. Okay, the Philippines is a very religious country.
Yes, we are.
The Philippines doesn't have all the comforts of home that you're used to over here. So you walk into a restaurant, you're sitting down to eat, and all that's maybe there is a fan. The power goes out there all the time.
Yes.
Okay, you might be nice and cool in your apartment or whatever, but all of a sudden it's 95 degrees out. That thing goes out. You better figure out a way to head for the ocean or whatever, because that's the only way you're getting cool.
Or go to the mall.
Well, even then, hopefully the mall has a generator, not necessarily perfect that way either. So I mean, it's not a perfect scenario. So don't expect everything to go. It's very, very frustrating. Things just like going to the ATM. Sometimes the ATM don't have money in there. You can't run yourself out of money and then go over there and expect to go to an ATM and pull cash out. Okay. You do that several days in advance, okay? You don't run out first, okay? Everything there is, you got to be really a good planner and execution person in order to keep everything going there, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble. If everything there works on Philippine time, because if all of a sudden something happens over there and there's a rainstorm and you invited somebody to come for lunch, well, they might be 2 hours late because they had to take a different road. It's just the way things work over there. So patience, more patience, understanding, and adapting. Adapt. When you're over there, you adapt. When she's over here, she's got to adapt. You got to adapt. There isn't a choice with that. You just got to go with the culture you're in, So that's my advice to anybody as far as visiting the country. Now, as far as getting into a relationship, okay, you got to get to know that person. You got to get to know them on the internet. Play that 20 question game. You got to get to know that person when you get over there. You spend as much time as humanly possible. Sleep 4 hours a day if you can do it. Spend time with that person, because that's really your first date. Come on, it's gonna be your first date, your first kiss, whatever. Just spend time every minute that you can with that person. Okay, get to know them for real. Do everything. Get your boots on the ground. You can't expect. Also don't expect. Okay, that you can start a long distance relationship with a girl over there and that it's just going to go real smooth. She might meet somebody who's got boots on the ground over there already, and then you're going to be in trouble. So you got to get over there as quick as you can if you're really serious about it, because she isn't going to be real serious about you until just like us, you can hold each other's hand and be together, right? I mean, that's what it is. So you got to get over there, okay? And then, and then the third thing is now really patience, because you're going to go through that visa process. And, I had hair, okay? I don't got hair anymore. That visa process will do that to you.
The hair is all gone.
It'll definitely do that to you. So, patience and understanding is the key, I think, in any relationship. I'm just exaggerating it, but it's even more so with a long distance relationship with two different cultures. Okay,
It's hard. So both, parties should be like, how do you call this? Adjust and be understanding each other.
Adjust, be fully committed, and be
Yes.
understanding.
Yeah.
That I can't stress enough the fully committed part of it, because you cannot be in it half-heartedly and be in a long distance relationship. It ain't gonna work. If you think you can just walk away from it, it ain't gonna work.
All right. So before we end this segment, I want to thank you to Pastor Michael Vinegas,
Yes.
who helped us a lot,
A lot.
in this marriage.
Yep.
Of course, Ate Zarina, Auntie Bibs, Ate Bats, Ate Langking, everybody there who helped us a lot. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for guesting on my YouTube channel. And
You're welcome. I finally get to get my shots in.
And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe on my channel. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. And thank you.
Bye.
And bye. See you in my next vlog. Love you guys. Mwah.